I know that June Squibb needs no introduction, but I will do it anyway. So from the very beginning, June Squibb seemed destined to be an actress. She often says that she knew it was from the moment she came into the world. Her first role was in the first grade as Goldilocks, and that was the start of an extraordinary journey. June began her career on stage performing at Cleveland Playhouse before moving to New York. She graced Broadway, off-Broadway, and theaters around the world, making her Broadway debut in the original 1960 production of Gypsy, alongside Ethel Merman. Decades later, she returned to Broadway in Waitress in 2018, proving that her passion for the craft has never dimmed. At 61, June made her film debut in Woody Allen's Alice, and since then she's built an unforgettable screen career, appearing in Scent of a Woman, About Schmidt, and earning an Academy Award nomination for her brilliant performance in Nebraska. Yes. Her recent work includes Thelma, Inside Out 2, which is a family favorite in ours, is the voice of nostalgia, and now Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut, Eleanor the Great, where she brings grace, depth, and heart to the title role. It really is my honor to welcome you to our stage once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. This story, for me, is such a heartfelt story. I'm wondering if you can share with us what drew you to this role in particular.
Oh, when I read the script, it was one of those that I thought to myself, I have to do this. And I felt the whole thing of the Holocaust was touching me when I read it. And I thought Eleanor, I loved her because she was not afraid. She was facing age, she was facing death, she was facing everything. But she still wasn't afraid of it. She came through and has a life, which I think it's hard sometimes when you are that age, and I am that age, that, to realize there is a life, there's something you can enjoy, that you can go out, you can do everything.
And I read that the writer actually wrote the script with you in mind.
Yes, Tori told me the day that we wrapped shooting, we had a party, and she came up to me and she said, I wrote this when I was in college, and she said, they asked me who I felt should play it, and even then she said, I said June Squibb should be doing this, and she said, she'll do it. And they all laughed at her, and of course she said, now I'm laughing. And her boyfriend was there with her, and he said, I can attest that story is true. So I just felt she knew my work, and she wanted me to do it, from the very beginning. She was writing it with me in mind, actually.
When you play a character like Eleanor, how much of that character do you put yourself into? Is there anything of your own experiences in your own life in the character?
Oh, yeah. I think I work a certain way that I was taught to work. And in doing that, you sort of use who you are and what you are and what you know. And what you don't know, then you sort of you look it up. And now that's great because you can go to the computer and find out almost anything that you want. But you have to have, I don't know, for want of a better word, knowledge about the things that you're dealing with when you're acting.
There's moments of such deep loneliness in this film. And then there's such moments of levity and connectedness, and particularly I think about your relationship with Nina and the ability to kind of cross the generational conversations. Mm-hmm. How did you go about kind of developing that relationship?
Well, Erin, who played Nina, was from London, and we were living at the same apartment building in New York City, and my assistant and I saw her we had a 2-bedroom apartment that we were living in, and she was in a single, and we said, come on up for pizza. And she did. And that started our relationship. And a funny story, really, because some of the producers were so worried about she and I getting to know each other and liking each other and being able to shoot this thing. And so they said that they sent us off to lunch together. And they wouldn't let my assistant or the driver or anyone sit with us. They were told they couldn't come into the restaurant with us. And I said, well, this is dumb. We know each other. We've been friends since we first set eyes on each other. And so I invited all of them into lunch. And so everybody came in. But we went back and I said to Scarlett, what is going on? Why did you do this? She said, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. She said she knew about it, and she knew that I had said, we don't need this really.
I mean, I can understand, right? That relationship is such the emotional core of the film.
Yes,
that
I think everybody was sort of worried, and it was something they weren't sure, I don't think, how it would work out exactly. I mean, just the fact of the age difference is what I think people were so worried about. And there was no need to, really, because we really liked each other.
Isn't that really one of the messages in the film?
It is.
It doesn't matter that age
difference. It doesn't matter. And I have young friends now, and people say, what do you talk to them about? Well, what do I talk to them about? Whatever you want to. I mean, there's no rules about this.
I think, sometimes if we let go of those rules that we have in our heads about how things are supposed to work, or the way that we're supposed to have relationships, that suddenly we become free to develop.
A lot of things can happen, I think. But I think they did happen with Aaron and I, and it was for the best for the film. But we're still friends. We are eager to see each other all the time.
I read somewhere that you are sometimes discerning about the roles that you take, that you turn down roles, you kind of. What is it about this particular role that that really you said, I have to do this?
Well, just the way it was written and what she's dealing with, I think she's dealing with so much in this script. And not the least is the Holocaust. I mean, I don't think, do we know enough about it? Do we know as much as we can about it? And I think just having Bessie, it became so personal, and personal to me doing it, with her telling me these stories. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's, one reason to read the script, to do the script. And as I said before, I just think she has written a character who you don't find that often. I have never, I mean, some people look at me and they, oh, Grandma, how wonderful, sweet, sweet Grandma. No, I'm not. And so, I mean, Eleanor gave me, yes, right? Isn't that true? But Eleanor gave me a chance. She's a pretty pissy lady. I mean, she's not to be sneezed at.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about this outside before we came in. So much of the work that we do here in this building is around memory and keeping memory. And, sometimes we get asked the question of, well, surely haven't we learned everything there is to know 80 plus years after an event? And we haven't. And one of the things that struck me about Bessie's character is she has this line in the movie at some point where she says to Eleanor that I've never said this to anyone, that I may be gone and nobody will know about my family, nobody will know about my brother.
Her brother, yeah.
And that idea that, how do we preserve memory? How, what is our responsibility for sharing other people's stories? Eleanor got into a little bit of trouble for taking on the persona, but she did it from a beautiful
grief,
place.
I feel that grief is one of the reasons she wanted so to honor Bessie and to make Bessie still with her, and this is how she did it.
And in fact, those people that we know and love that come in and out of our lives, that is how we keep them with us all the time.
Yeah. But I think I don't know, I often wonder what she's going to talk about next. I mean, because she says that this is my grandchild. It is not her grandchild, but she's been, she loves tales. It's as simple as that. She loves stories, and she's going to fill her life with them.
And I imagine that somebody kind of moving back to New York City in their 90s after being gone for a very long time, that could be a little disconcerting.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's her way of kind of coping with that process.
Yeah, and I felt too that reading the script and then what Scarlett dwelt on as the director, that their life was pretty insular together, she and Bessie. I don't think they had a lot of friends. They went together wherever they were going to go, and to lose something like that is monumental, I think, in anyone's life.
Yeah. So I do have to ask you, since it's come up now a couple of times, but Scarlett Johansson, directorial debut, what was that like?
That was great. She's a really fine director. She really is. And I just felt that she took over and she was the leader. And she made decisions very quickly, which you have to in the circumstance of being with a lot of people and you're shooting. And I can't say enough about her in terms of, she's a young woman who knows who she is, and she loves her work, she loves her family, but she wants so to create, to make a film that she is proud of, and I think she's very proud of this film. And I'm very proud of it as well.
I know that she wasn't the first director attached to the picture. Do you think the fact that this was a debut and it was so personal for her that impacted what we saw on the screen?
Oh yeah, I think it did. And I think also that it's impacting the film because people are interested in the fact that she's directing. I mean, look at her career, my gosh, she's one of our finest actresses. And she's been nominated for an Academy Award. And this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to do this, try it. And she's also, people say, will she do another one? I think she will. But if she doesn't want to, she won't. I don't think she'll ever feel I have to do this again.
Of course. Yeah, well, for us, certainly, when we first heard, Scarlett Johansson is making a film, and it has a Holocaust theme, and Squibb is in it. I think I said to Lorraine, I was like, this is for us. We have to show this movie here. We don't have a choice. We were watching it since the debut at Cannes for an awfully long time. So we're very glad that it works here, that it's finally here. A lot of the roles and the characters that I've seen you play really have such a quiet strength to them. You have this presence that sort of makes us kind of stop and listen to you. I'm a little bit partial to Sheldon's Meemaw, but in many of your roles,
Right.
As our audience kind of is here this evening and watching this film, is there anything in particular that you would like them to take away from this screening tonight?
From the screening?
From the film. Is there a message for them?
Well, I hope you feel you saw a fine film. I know so often I think, I can't wait to see that film. I see it and I think, that wasn't that great. So I hope, that that's not what happened with this, that you feel that you've seen a piece of art, really. Because I think both Scarlett and I went into it with that feeling that we wanted to bring this script to its finest, to have people see it at its best.
Yeah, you did.
I'm very lucky in the work that I do that I get to watch a lot of really wonderful movies and a lot of movies that are related to the themes of the museum, not just the Holocaust, but human rights and repairing our world and making the world a better place. And I think I said this to you outside, but I made the big mistake of usually I preview the films at home in privacy, and I didn't finish this film. And so I watched it in my office, which was a big mistake because we have all these meetings and I'm sitting there bawling and going, I have 5 minutes to clean myself up before people show up. And it was one of those beautiful films that I can think of that I've seen in recent memories.
Well, I'm very proud of it. And I wanted to say too, when I first saw it, and I saw a very rough cut, I cried, and I thought, I've never cried at myself in a film, but I did. I sat there, tears rolling down my face.
Well, I wanted to, before I forget, and I would be remiss in reminding our audience that the film is coming out in theaters in November? September, next month, September 26th. So we got to see it about a month before it's been released. Please make sure that you tell your friends and your family. Take them, watch it again. I saw it twice now, so it's great to see 2-3 times. Because it does, particularly in this moment, as we are grappling with the loss of first-person Holocaust survivor testimony. We have fewer and fewer survivors, but we're so grateful for the ones that are still here sharing their testimonies. The message of this film around the preservation of memory is so beautiful and so powerful. So thank you for bringing it to us. I will also do one other plug, which is that June Squibb will be heading back to Broadway. So if you, I encourage you to find yourselves in New York and go see that performance. Rehearsals start in October.
Marjorie Prime.
Marjorie Prime. Make sure you look for it. And with that, I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you so much to June Squibb.
Thank you.